This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so good morning, guys. So yesterday we started with class and objects. Good morning. Good morning, guys. I'm audible. No, it is not good morning. It is good noon because our session starts at 12. Yes, Satya Babu, Satya Bhanu was correct. Okay, good noon, good noon, good noon, good noon. So how was the day? How was the day? Is that good? Okay, okay, sir. So I hope you have seen the news. So like how the recent trends is going on. So, what is the today's news? Today's hot news, or today's latest news, or today's trending news? Anything? What is it? So, guys, have you seen gone through any news? So, what is going happening around us? Guys, I'm audible. Yes. So, what is today's news? Today's hot news. No one is watching any newses. Any hot topics? Okay. If you are interested, then I can share you some hot or some trending news with you. But if you're not, then we can go for the session. But keep a best practice like um, to go through uh, some news topics. Okay, so I know you all know that Olympics is going on, and today Neeraj Chopra. Do you know the person? Neeraj Chopra. He was the first person to qualify for finals for javelin throw. Yes, good. So how much meters he has thrown for qualification? For qualifying, it is not a final. This is just for a qualifier match. So actually, he stood first, and he has thrown up to 86 meters, 86.65, I think so. So that was the meter he just used for qualifier, and we are expecting some results, but I don't know what happens. So after that, so okay, so that is one hot news that today, and also yes, many players from India are going for semifinals and finals. So that's happening in Olympics. Regarding Olympics, but still we are in 64th place. Do you know that? So we are in 64th place in Olympics chart with uh, one silver medal and one bronze medal, I think so. Till now we have got only one silver medal and one bronze medal. When compared to China, US, and other
Shubham,
countries,
sir.
we good morning. Oh, 61. It's updated. Good, good. Okay, so this was one, and this was one topic that keeps on buzzing between all. Yes, so many are thinking that so we have to win lots of gold medals, but still we are lagging in golds. And okay, so that is for sports and related things. So this is for related things that we're going for winning, and also there are something that which is pulling us down. What is that? Which is actually not letting us to live our own life. What is that? Yeah, good. Corona, and so other countries. So I hope you know this. So other countries are facing this fourth wave, and we are expecting our third wave, which is going to start from maybe from August 15 or something by this month end, or some saying it's already started, and some saying it's going to be in the peak of September. So this was another news that so rest of the world is facing more than third wave. They are facing fourth or fifth waves, but right now India is facing third wave. It's going to face, but it's not face. It's not facing. It's going to face third wave. So these are the trends that these are the news that is spreading today. Okay, okay, be safe. Okay, so then, so these are some topics. So maybe will be helping to understand the current trend outside our house or outside our area, what is happening. And if you keep on watching this news, then you'll know some other topics also went. So there was one student who was killed in Andhra. Do you know why he was killed? One student in Andhra was killed. So this was also a hot topic from yesterday. So one student from Andhra was killed by his friends or by his colleagues who was studying in the same section or who was in their area, in their local area, because he was teasing his friend's hairstyle. So that was the reason the friends or the persons who are in their area has killed him. So this is also happening around us. A person teasing his hairstyle caused him to death. So this was happened in Andhra. What do you think about this? Is teasing is that much punishable? So this shows the tolerance level of humanity, correct? The tolerance level of our humanity is changing from persons to persons and from ages to ages, correct? When compared to Olympics, so they keep on practicing and they keep on winning and they pushing themselves to move forward. So that is their tolerance. Even though their body is not supporting, they are keep on trying. So that is what that pushing them back. And in the parallel way, if a person is teaching someone and he's getting killed, so this is also happening in the same. That's happening around us. So just for your awareness, I'm telling this. We should take the good in everything. We should not take this bad things. So that is my opinion. It may change within you, but this is my opinion. Maybe you have a different opinion or a different view for this, but this is my opinion about this. So okay, so apart from this, so we can move to session. Yes, so Sarvesh is here. Sarvesh and Sri Gokul, sorry, Sri Kaushik Raja. Sarvesh V, roll number 19 and 137 is here. 19 is here, is not here. And 137 is also not here. Okay, representative, please inform these two persons as not yet joined in Google Classrooms. And lateral entries, I hope today you will be getting your email IDs, official email IDs. So with that you can join. So Tejaswin, you can tell your friends, Prasanna and I hope another one person is not yet joined. Maybe later
Okay, sir.
you can tell it. So yes, you can inform your friend Prasanna. By today you will be getting your official email ID. With that you can join your classrooms.
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys. So let's start. So yesterday we started with classes and objects, correct? Yesterday we started to how to create a new class. So yesterday we have started. Okay, before that I want to share my screen. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. Yes, thank you. Okay, sir. So coming to class. So yesterday we started with student class. So inside my student, I have variables or anything I can have. So here I'm just going to use int roll number. Okay, so this is going to be advanced class. So just I'm starting with this basic class. So public static void main string args args. So followed by I have a single statement system.out.println welcome to 19CS 203. CS 203. So this was the example that we started yesterday. Yes, and from here we started to learn what is my class and what is the student. Yes, so I hope you know what is this class and what is the student and how to create an object for this. Yes, so I'm just saving this. So I'm just going to save this in folder. So I'm just creating it day 5. Okay, I'm saving this file as a class, sorry, as a Java file. So for this, I'm just using the same class name, student.java. Yes, sir. So what is this public? What is this public? So we know what is this class and how to define a class. So this class is a keyword which is used to define a class and followed by the name of my class, which is going to be actually going to be a user defined data type. So similar to my normal primitive data type, I can use this as a user defined data type. So later we can see about this. So whenever we are going in advance, we will be learning a lot of new things in this classes related things. Okay, sir. So now what is this public access modifiers? Good, super. So how many access modifiers are there? 3. Okay, can you name it? Can anyone name it? Yeah, public, private, protected. Yes. So that was the normal 3 access modifiers we'll be normally using, correct? But in Java, we have 4 access modifiers: public and um, protected, and also no modifier, which is actually have a package level access. Package level access, and this is the default access specifier. If we have not specifying any modifiers, we are not specifying any public, private, or protected, we are not specifying anything, then that is called as no modifier, and which has package level access. Yes, so this is this is the fourth modifier which is used in Java, and this is the default access specifier. This is the default access specifier for Java and private. Sir, what is the difference between these, sir? So why, sir, we have these 4 types of access modifiers? Then what is the difference between this? We all know what is meant by public. Yes, public in the sense anyone can access. Correct? Anyone can access. Okay, sir. Then if it is a protected, if it is a protected, so what is the level of access for a protected access specifier? It is nothing but the persons who I'm sharing with the details, correct? So if I'm declaring a class or a method as a variable as a protected, then with whom I'm sharing this? For example, if I'm having a class A, which is of a protected access specifier, and I'm telling my class B, so this class A has these many variables and methods, you can access it. So for whom or from for which I'm sharing my details, they only can access my details. So that is my protected, correct? And private level access, and private level access is nothing but I can use only within the class. So to easily understand this, I can explain or I can give an example as a chocolate box. You know chocolate box, correct? You all know what is a chocolate box. What does chocolate box contains? Chocolate box. You all know about chocolate box? Good, chocolates. Good, super. Suppose, consider, so this chocolate box contains chocolates, correct? I'm considering these chocolates as my classes or my variables or my methods, which is inside my package. And this chocolate box is my package. Yes. Okay. So if I'm keeping this chocolate box outside my college gate, I hope you all came to college and you all seen this college, correct? So if I keep the chocolate box outside my college gate, what will happen? Yes, everyone can take the chocolates. Yes, everyone who is crossing a college or who is passing in the road can take the chocolate. So that is the public level access. Yes, correct. Yes or no? So that is the public level access. So if suppose I'm taking the chocolate box, I'm keeping inside my gate, inside my college gate, main entrance gate, inside my college gate, then who can access this chocolate box or who can take these chocolates? Only the persons who are entering the college, correct? Only the persons who are entering the college. So there may be anything. They can be anything. So they may be a student, they may be a staff, they may be a parent, they may be a employee, correct? So whoever they're entering this college can access the chocolate box, correct? So this is the package level access, the package. So this SECE is a single package and the classes inside this SECE can access that chocolates, correct? This is the difference between the public and package level access or non-modifier. The classes inside my package can access these chocolates. Okay, sir. So if I'm studying in second CSEC and I'm going to bring the chocolate box and keeping inside my class and I'm telling only to my CSEA friends and CSEB friends, then who can access my chocolates? Who can take my chocolates? Yes, guys. So if I'm bringing my chocolate box to my classroom and I'm telling only to the friends in second CACA and second CACB, now who can access my chocolate box? Only the persons in this class, CACA and CACB. So there may be many classes. There may be many classes inside my college, but only those who are with I'm sharing. So they only can access that. So that is the protected level access. That is the protected level access. For those whom I'm giving the access, they only can access it. So if I'm just keeping the chocolate box within me, with myself, and I'm not sharing with anyone, then who can access it? Actually, no one can access except me, because I'm the one having my chocolate box. I'm not sharing with anyone. So no one can access my chocolate box. Good. So these are the four accesses, and that is the private access, correct? So these are the four access modifiers that are present in Java, and the default access specifier is package level access, or it is generally known as no modifiers, because there is no specific name that has been given for it. So that is the reason why they are calling it as a no modifiers, or it in general it will be called as a package level access. Package level access in general they'll be calling this as package level access, but there is no specific modifier name has been given for it. So these are the four access modifiers that is available in Java. So here I'm giving it as a public in the sense, so anyone can access this because this is going to be my main method. So main method is going to be starting point of my process. Not only in C, not only in Java, not only in Python. Any language will always contains this main method. So main is going to be the starting point. So main is going to be the starting point. So this main will be seen by my processor. The processor will see for my main keyword, and from that point my process will get started. Yes. So this is my method name, and this is the keyword which is telling that anyone can access this, because which gives the permission for my processor to access this method, correct? Can you understand this? So public and main. So public is access specifier and main is the method name. And what is the static? Sir, what is the static keyword, sir? What is the use of the static? Good, to invoke a class without creating an object. But actually, what is the static? So we have seen static in C. What is the use of static keyword? Static memory, static variable. Can you all remember that static variable? Okay, how many times the static memory will be created? How many times the static memory will be created? No, it is not having some garbage values. Actually, so static is a keyword which will automatically create a memory for, which will automatically create a memory. Yes, constant variables uses a static keyword and also final keyword. So static and final combined will called as a constant keyword. Okay, so static is actually used to create a memory for it. So actually constant variables in Java uses both static and final keyword. Constant variables in Java is a combination of both static and final keyword. So static in the sense the memory will be created automatically, and final in the sense it will not be changed at any point. So that is the final keyword. So that is a combination of both static and final which creates a constant variable in Java. Okay, that's the part. So static is a keyword which is used to create a memory automatically. So why do I want to create a memory, sir? Why do I want to create a memory? So in the last session, we have seen a statement like this, correct? Class, sorry, student S1 equal to new student of. What is this new keyword is doing? What is this new keyword is doing? What is the purpose or what is the use of this new keyword? Creating an object. So actually creating an object in the sense this is the object. So new is a keyword which will allocate memory, correct? So new will create memory. So if you can compare with C means, then this is acting like a malloc in C. Do you know malloc function? Malloc function in C. Actually, this will not work as an malloc. This will work as a calloc. Calloc, which will allocate a memory for the reference which I am creating. Correct. So calloc. Do you all remember this malloc function? Malloc function which will automatically create a memory and it will return the starting address of a memory to the reference variable, correct? So this new keyword is used to actually create a memory. So with this object, so here I'm just going to create a memory for student object. So that is the reason why I have called my student constructor. So this will tell me how much memory should I want to create it. So the default constructor will always tell me how much memory should I want to create. And new is a keyword which is used to create a memory. For whom I'm going to create? For student object. So that is the reason I have called me student constructor. And where I'm going to save this object reference in the variable S1. So whose object is this? It is going to be a student object. So that is the explanation for this line. Yes. Without an object, I cannot access anything inside my function, anything inside my class. Without this object, I cannot access anything inside my class. Can I access anything inside my class without this object? No. So that is the reason I'm going to create an object. But when coming to main function, when coming to see this main function, so who's going to call this main function? Who's going to call this main method? main is the keyword which will be used by who is going to call this main method. In C, we have started the function as int main, which is the starting point. So who's going to call this main method? Guys, who is going to call this main method? No, processor. Processor. Processor is the one who's going to call this main method. Correct? Processor is the one who's going to invoke a new process. Correct? So the function or the line syntax statements that we are going to write is going to act as a single process. Correct? So after compiling and executing a program, the .exe file will be running as a process in my system. Correct? Yes or no? See, maybe I can show you an example. So if you're going to see my task manager, so in the sense you can see here, so these are apps. So these apps have, okay, maybe I don't know how. Actually, the process, so these are the processes that are actually running in my system. Can you see this? So these are the processes that are actually running, and these processes have the extension of .exe. Every process is an extension of .exe. Correct? It is a .exe file. That is nothing but someone returned compiled code is executing in my system. Correct? So this GoToMeeting is an application which is having a process called GoToMeeting, and it is currently running. Correct? So and similarly, Microsoft Excel. Excel is an application in that we have a name list as a single process which is running. So everything is a .exe file. Everything is a .exe file in the sense it is someone has written and compiled code. It is already, so I'm just using a compiled version or .exe file to execute in my system. That's it. Correct or wrong? So everything is a .exe file. So this is the executable files that was written by someone, and compiled by someone. So just compiled and they have given the executable file to us. We started to execute these files, and I hope you already know this. So when you try to install Eclipse, so before installing Eclipse, it asks for your JRE. Have you noted it? if you if you if you use if you try to install Eclipse before installing Java, then it has given you a warning message, right? So Java is not installed in the system, please install Java to execute this process. Like that, you'll be getting a message like that. Have you seen that? Or else before installing Visual Studio, not Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio, the older version, Visual Studio. If you try to install a Visual Studio, then you have seen this. So like this framework is required to install this Visual Studio, like that. A system requirement is already needed for it to install it. Yes. So everything that's running here is going to be an exe file. Guys, can you able to understand what I'm telling? Can you able to understand it or not? So each process is going to be controlled by processor, and the processor will always look for this main keyword in spite of any language. It can be of C, Java, Python, or any other language you're going to learn. So each language has a main function. Yes, Python is also having a main function which is already hidden. If I want to override it, so then only I'm just using the command like if underscore underscore main. If main is already exists, then I'm going to override with my condition. So that is the reason why we are using if main, if underscore underscore main in Python. So main will always be available in the pyc file. .pyc file will always have this main method. So we are overriding that main method with our own main method. For that, that is the reason why we are using the condition if underscore underscore main in Python. Every language has this main keyword, and always the processor will look for this main keyword. Yes. So the processor doesn't know where to start. Correct. Without this main keyword. Without this main keyword, processor doesn't know this is the starting point of my function, and I cannot start. I don't know where to start. Guys, is it clear or not? Is it clear or not? Can you able to understand this or not? Guys, is this clear or not? Yes. Okay, sir. So the processor doesn't know how to create an object for this. Processor doesn't know how to create an object for the student class. Does he know? Processor does know how to create an object for the student class. No, he doesn't know how to create a student. He doesn't know what is a class name. So what happens is he cannot create an object, and without an object, I cannot call this method. So that is the reason why we are using this static keyword. So whenever I use a static keyword, it will automatically create a memory for it. So with that memory, I can call this main method. Yes. Yes, with that memory, I can call this main method. So since this is going to be this is the main method, and this main method is not going to return anything. So in C we had a we have a return type like this. So in C we have a return type like this int main of. So which states that it returns the we are returning return 0, which states that the success state of my process. Correct. The success state of my process is returned to my process. If it is going to be a 0, then it states that the process has completed successfully, so please deallocate all the memory assigned for my memory. So that is the reason why C has this int main. But Java, the in Java, all this is going to be handled by JVM. So JVM will tell the processor that whether the process is successfully completed or not. So JVM will take care of that process. So that is the reason why main is not having any return type. So main is not going to return anything to the JVM or my processor. So that is the reason why this main method's return type is going to be void. So now you know what is this public static void main. Yes. So main is the method name and void is the return type. Static is a keyword which is used to create a memory without creating an object. And public is the access specifier which tells anyone can access this specifier, which anyone can access this method. Correct? So this is the explanation for public static void main. And within this bracket, we have a string array. We have a string array, which is nothing but a command line arguments, which is used to get the command line arguments. Do you know what is meant by command line arguments? Do you know what is meant by command line arguments? Okay, just I will tell you with an example. So command line arguments. So command line arguments are actually command line arguments are present in C also. Actually, the actual definition for int main in C is going to be like this. It is going to be a character star arr comma int size. So this is the actual parameters for int main in C. This is the actual size. So which tells that this is the character array starting reference address, and the size is going to be the size of this character array. So this is the actual parameters that can be passed in my integer, sorry, in my main function in C. The same is going to be used in Java instead of this character arrays, because in C we initially string as a character array. So here I have a special data type called string. So I can directly use the string and followed by the array of strings. So that is the variable, that is nothing but a variable for my string. So I can use any variables. I can use any variable here. I can use any variable. So only args is not used. Only args. So I can use it as a value. But for standard use, but for standardizing this, they have created or they are giving this example as args. That is representing as arguments. That is the reason why they are creating the variable name as args. So this is not compulsory to be the variable name should be args. We can use any variable name. So this is used to get the input from the user before starting the process. So that is called as command line arguments. Okay, maybe I can show you with an example. So I'm just going to save this file and I'm going to see I have given it this all this in a command line. So this compiler will skip all these lines. So here I'm just going to compile this file. So just java c student.java. So if there is any error, it will check and it will tell me the errors. So there are no errors. So I'm just running the file. So java student. So student is capital. So I hope it is visible now. So java student. So if I hit enter, java followed by class name. Yes, now it is executing, correct? Maybe I have misspelled something. Okay, so now it has printed that welcome to Java, which states that I have started the process called student. So I have created a process called student, and after that I have started this process. So once the process has been started, the lines or statements inside my student has been executed, correct? So this is what happens here. So now what I'm going to do is, so before starting the process, I want to give some inputs to my process. So for example, I'm just giving an int variable. So there is going to be, just understand this. Later I can explain this. Since it is going to be an array, this is going to be a string array. So always array index starts from 0. So I'm just using the first variable is going to be an integer. It will always get all the inputs in the string format. It will always get the input as a string format. To convert my string into an integer, I'm using this method integer.parseInt. I will explain this what is it so in the later class. So it is nothing but the same thing that we are using parsing in my C. So I'll be using this type conversion. No. So similarly, I have a integer.parseInt method to convert my string into a integer in Java. So similarly, I can, if it is going to be a string name, so this is equal to args1. So here I have two things. One is I have, maybe I can give it in a specific thing. There is going to be a roll number. Roll number is going to be my argument 0 and his name is going to be argument 1. So I'm just giving this. So welcome. So here this plus sign is nothing but a concatenation. So inside this concatenation symbol, I can have any strings or any variables that is going to be related. So welcome name, okay, just I have added these things to my string, that's it. So welcome name with roll number. So name with roll number I have added. So name is going to be argument 1 that is going to be given by the user before starting a process. Similarly, argument 0 is going to be roll number, which is going to be given by the user before starting the process. Yes, to add this to my command to print line, I have used this plus operator to concatenate to my string. Just this is going to be a concatenation operation. Plus is nothing but a concatenation operation, which is going to add the string to my add this values to my string. That's it. So I'm saving this and I'm just going to compile this file. So again, I'm going to compile this file. If there is any error, then it will be displayed. So there is no error. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this file. So before running this file, so if I hit enter, the process will start to run. But before running this process, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a roll number. So consider I'm just giving the roll number as well, and the name is Giri. Yes, so first value is going to be an array index of 0, that is going to be 12, and the second argument is going to be name. The name is going to be Giri. So I'm just hitting enter. So now we can see here. So welcome Giri followed by the roll number to the class name. Yes, so this is the command line argument. So there is nothing but giving an input to the process before starting the process. So that is the use of my command line arguments. So where these command line arguments are used, so these command line arguments are catched in this string args. Yes, do you all understand this? What is command line arguments? What is meant by command line arguments? Yes, what is my command line arguments? Suppose, sir, I don't want to give this input, sir. Just I'm running this without. I'm just running this. I'm just running this without any input I'm giving. So now what happens is it will throw an index. See, as you can see here, so it shows an error Java language dot array index out of bound exception. So in Java line number three, index 0. Actually, it is expecting a value, but there is no values there. Can you see here? Student Java line number three. So which is nothing but line one, line two, line three, 1, 2, and 3. In third line, I have used or I have accessed this index 0 value, but there is no value available there. There is now no value has been given by the user. So that is the reason it is telling me that array index out of bound exception. There is no value given by the user, but the process expects this value to be execute this process. So without giving this value, the process will not start. It will always throw an exception. Yes, so this is called command line arguments. Can you able to understand this? Is that clear or not? Can you able to understand what is command line argument? Command line arguments. Do you able to understand it or not? So I have shown you with an example how this command line arguments works. Can you able to understand this command line arguments or not? Yes. Okay, so maybe I can. Okay, roll number 128, Shobana. Please unmute yourself.
Yes.
Shobana. Yes. So can you tell me the different access modifiers in Java? What are the different access modifiers in Java? What are the different access modifiers that are in Java? Shobana, unmute and tell me.
The private, public,
Yes, private, public,
protected,
protected. That's it.
No modifier, sir.
Yes, which is in Java, which has a
No modifier.
which have a what level of access? What level of access that no modifier has?
Package, sir.
Package load access. Good, thank you. So 132, Shivanarayanan. Shivanarayan. 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 Just unmute and talk. I don't want the chat messages. Just unmute and tell. Okay, what is the use of static keyword? Shivanarayan. What is the use of static keyword? Shivanarayan, I'm expecting an answer from you. What is the use of static keyword? Memory management and only memory management. Just unmute and talk, Shivanarayan. You keep on typing that will take so much of time. So now only Sri Kaushik Rajan has arrived and he has not yet joined in Google Classroom. Yes, Sri Kaushik Rajan. Okay, so is there anyone who's going to help your friend Shivanarayan? Okay, Sri Sharan, roll number 138.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what is the use of static keyword? So you have public, static, void, main. So what is the use of the static keyword in main method?
Sir, use it to share method from a given class.
Can you repeat it one more time? Can you repeat it one more time?
Sir, variable in main class is used in other classes too, sir.
No, that is not. Actually, static keyword is that is not the correct answer. Okay, so maybe we can check with Sri Kaushik. 137. Sri Kaushik Rajan. Sri Kaushik Raja.
Sir,
Yes, help your friend. So what is the use of static keyword in this?
I couldn't hear you properly.
What is the use of static keyword in public static void main? What is the use of static keyword in this method?
Sir, for memory management.
Not only memory management. What are the other use for the static keyword?
Sir, this is for a constant variable, sir. Instead of a class.
Constant variables. Constant?
Variable, sir.
No, it's not. Okay, anyone? Anyone help your friends? Maybe Tamil Selvan, 152. Tamil Selvan. So what is the use of the static keyword? In this main method. Tamil Selvan. Roll number 152. Tamil Selvan. Yes, Tamil Selvan. So what is the use of static keyword in this main method? In this
Sir,
main method, what is the
memory.
use of the stat?
Sir,
Only memory management. Yes, only memory management. So who is going to call this main method?
used to share some values, sir.
Yes, so Sri Raman. Sri Ramana. Sri Ramana. Sri Ramana, you can unmute and you can tell your answer. Sri Ramana.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, you can help your friends to tell your answer.
Sir, it allocates the memory for the object that is needed to be created, which allows the class to be used without the object.
Good. So actually without creating an object, I have to access this main method because this main method is going to be accessed by the processor, correct? So any method without object is not possible to access. Yes, a method inside my class is not able to access without an object, but the processor don't know what class it is and how to create an object for it. So for that is the reason why we are using the static keyword here to access a method without creating an object. Yes, now can you all get what is this static keyword is using in this main method? So the processor can access this main method without creating an object. So that is the reason why we are specifying this method as a static. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear? What is the use of the static keyword? Is it clear or not? What is the use of the static keyword in my main function? Okay, now what is the string args? 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 String A.
Command line argument.
Saravanan? Saravanan B?
Yes, sir.
You can tell me what is the string args?
Command line argument.
Good. What is the use of command line arguments? What is the use of command line arguments? What is the use of command line arguments? So as you can see here, so if I start a process, I'll be using this command like Java followed by the process name that is going to be student, correct? If I'm starting a process without this, if I'm using this command line arguments and I'm without accessing this variable, if I started the process, it throws an error. So now you tell me, what is the use of this command line arguments? Not compiling. It is not compiling. To give a value or to give an input value to the process before starting the process. Correct. So normally in C, what we will be doing is, if you want to get a value, if we want to get a value, what we'll be doing is we'll be creating a variable like this. So int A, and after that I'll be calling this function. So scanf %d, comma, ampersand A. So this is how we'll be normally getting it. So before starting, but this line will execute only after starting the process. But if I want to give an input before starting a process, then I have to use this command line argument. Similarly, in C, I have this character array and size. Similarly, in Java, I have this string arguments, string array to get this input. So this is called command line arguments, which is used to give input before starting a process. I hope that is clear. So there is a use of command line arguments. So get the value. Yes, correct. Vidya Bharati is correct, but it is not before compiling. It is before executing the process. Get the value before executing the process. That is the use of this command line argument. So this is what this is the basic structure, and followed by, so followed this we have a bracket. So inside this bracket is going to be the all the statements that is going to be executed in my class. So this is going to be a general class for a general expression. So how a class should be and how an object can be created and how it should be accessed. So this is the general example for it. Yes, I hope this is clear. Yes, is everyone is clear up to this? Yes, sir. Okay, so maybe tomorrow we can start with this language basics. So by tomorrow we can complete this second unit. So by tomorrow we can complete the second unit. So from day after tomorrow we'll be starting with the first unit, object-oriented programming concepts. So only the remaining things that are available in second unit is going to be this language basics that is going to cover with this basic variables, operators, expression statements and blocks, and control flow statements. So only these 4 topics are remaining in my second unit. So tomorrow we can complete all these topics, and after that we can go for this first unit. Yes, is anyone having any doubts up to this? And one more thing I want to share you. So if you want to prepare anything, or if you want to understand a little more understanding about Java, then I suggest you go to start with this. Just go for Google and type Java tutorial Oracle. Java tutorial Oracle. So from here you can start. So from getting started to learning the Java language. So whatever things that I'm telling you, that are all the things that I'm taking from here. So from this is where I'm going to teach you. So this is the official tutorial page that was released by Oracle. And if you are going to prepare for any OCJP certification, then you have to prepare for this. You have to prepare from this. Correct? If you are preparing for OCJP certification, then you have to learn everything in this. And also there is a path for this. So how to prepare for OCJP, everything is in this page. You can, if you want to learn a little bit more about Java, then you can go for this. Yes, sir, this is so much, this has a detailed knowledge, sir. So I want to have a crisp manner. I want a crisp content. Then I suggest you to go for Java T point. So this is one side which is useful to understand Java better. I am not suggesting for any other language. I'm just suggesting only for Java, this Java T point. Yes, so they will be explaining everything in clear. So what is Java, how the history of Java, everything will be explained in detail in here. So that these are the 2 websites that you have to refer for understanding or for learning Java. I will not be suggesting any other websites. Or if you are going for any books, then I'll be referring this complete reference Java. You can use that complete reference to understand this, and that complete reference is also this the same content that is present in complete reference is given in this website. The same book that, so actually they will be giving this in this book form. See, they are given the link, so you can also get this book, and this is going to be nothing but the complete reference. There's going to be a complete reference for it. Yes. Okay, guys. So these are things that I want to share with you for preparing this. So if you want to know basics about Java, then I suggest you can go with this. Yes. I'll be sharing these PPTs and materials. I'll be sharing in the Google Classrooms. Don't worry. Actually, yesterday itself I started to share these materials. But for if you want to learn more, or if you want interested to learn in depth of this Java, then you can go and refer this. You have all the things that you want to learn about Java is here. Yes. Any doubts? And so Sarvesh is also joined. Yes. Sarvesh and one more person, Sri Kaushik Raja, and yes, Sarvesh. You too has didn't joined in my Google Classroom. If you want to join, just ping me or get the link from your uh, representative and you can join with that. Sarvesh and Sri Kaushik Raja. Yes. Yes. Okay, guys. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me now, or else we can see tomorrow. So by tomorrow, we'll be completing this module 2, and from day after tomorrow, we'll be starting with module 1. And I hope you know that by next week, so after this a couple of weeks, you'll be starting with your internals 1. You'll be starting with your internals 1. So be prepared for it. Yes, any doubts, you can ask me now, or else we can wind up the session. Thank you. If you have any doubts, you can ping me. Thank you.